You've done the work. Maybe therapy. Maybe years of it. Maybe the books like Jung, or the Stoics, or the self-help shelf you don't tell people about. Maybe all of it. And something got better. You're more self-aware than almost anyone you know. You can name your patterns. You can trace things back. You understand yourself in ways most people never will. But something else didn't move. Something underneath all of that. Something you can feel but can't quite name is still exactly where it was. And the strangest part is that you can't explain that to anyone without sounding ungrateful for your own progress. If that's where you are, I made this for you. My name is Alan, and I've spent nearly 18 years working inside inpatient psychiatric hospitals. Not writing about it, not theorizing about it, but sitting across from people in the full weight of it every day. And what I've seen from that chair has changed everything I thought I knew about what mental health actually is. Because what I was trained to call mental health, what the system calls mental health, is not mental health. The system defines mental health as the management of symptoms. You're anxious? Here's a tool to reduce the anxiety. You're depressed? Here's a protocol to raise your functioning. If you're in crisis, here's a stabilization plan to get you back on your feet, get you back to baseline. That's it. That's the whole model. Get you stable, get you functional, send you home. I've watched that model applied thousands of times, and I want to be honest with you about what I've seen. I've watched people get stable and go home and come back and get stable again and go home again on a loop that nobody in the system will name for what it is, because stability is not health. Functioning is not freedom, and the absence of a crisis is not the same thing as being well. Here's what I believe mental health actually is. It is the capacity to reason truth. Not the absence of symptoms, not a score on a screening tool. The capacity, the living, working ability to look at your own experience, your own thinking, your own fear, and see it clearly, without the distortion. That capacity is not a mood. It's not a personality trait. It's not something you either have or you don't. It's a function. And like any function, it can be disrupted. And like any function, it can be recovered. Imagine a goldfish in a bowl. The goldfish doesn't know it's in a bowl. It doesn't experience the bowl as a container. It experiences the bowl as reality. The water it swims in isn't something it can see. It's just the world. That's what fear does to perception. It doesn't feel like a distortion. It feels like clarity. It feels like you're finally seeing things as they are. and the entire apparatus of conventional mental health. Every tool, every diagnosis, every protocol is designed to help the goldfish swim more comfortably, not to help it see the bowl. I'm not interested in helping you swim more comfortably. I'm interested in helping you see the bowl. I want to ask you something, and I want you to actually sit with it. Not answer it immediately. Just sit with it. How long have you been managing? Managing the anxiety so it doesn't spike. Managing the relationship so there's no conflict. Managing the performance so nobody questions you. Managing the image so you look like someone who has it together. How long? Because here's what I've noticed. And I don't say this to provoke you. I say it because I've watched it happen and nobody else in the space will name it. Management is exhausting. And over time, the energy it takes to manage, to maintain stability, to keep all the plates in the air, start to crowd out everything else. It crowds out the aliveness, the real desire, the thing you do, the thing you would actually be doing if you weren't so busy making sure nothing falls apart. I've sat across from men, successful men, responsible men, men who by every external measure are doing it right, who are quietly disappearing inside their own lives. Not suffering in a clinical sense, not in crisis, just absent. Present in body, absent in any way that matters to them. They built a life, and then they couldn't find themselves inside it. I call this the Prince Trap. The man who performs all the right responsibilities, who shows up, who provides, who holds things together, but who does it from a place of obligation rather than sovereignty. Who is so committed to being reliable that he never asks whether any of it is actually his. The Prince Trap isn't a pathology. The system wouldn't even flag it. You'd pass every screening, hit every benchmark, score fine on every measure of functioning, but you'd know. You'd know something was missing. And that knowing, that persistent, unignorable sense that something real hasn't been touched yet, is not a symptom to be managed. It's a signal, and it's pointing somewhere. I'm not here to tell you what's wrong with you. I'm not here to give you a framework to optimize. I'm not here to help you manage better. I'm here because I've spent all these years watching a system try to stabilize people who actually needed to be freed. And I left the standard narrative behind a long time ago. What I do now, what I'm building, is a body of work designed to do one thing: help you recover the capacity to see clearly, to reason truth, to stop swimming in the bowl and start actually looking at it. Not through therapy, not through coaching, but through the kind of honest, precise, experience-based dismantling that I offer inside the system, I can offer here. If what I've said in the last 10 minutes landed somewhere real in you, if something in you recognized it, I want to invite you to take one step. Not into a course, not into a program, just one step. Go to the website. Read what's there. Take your time. See if the rest of what I've built feels like the thing you've been looking for. If it does, everything you need to go deeper is waiting for you there. And if it doesn't, that's fine too. But I think you'll know within a few minutes whether this is your place.